Hi everyone, good afternoon. This is Enzo Aita from HyperGuest. I'm very happy to welcome to everyone to a new episode of Hospitality Marketplace. Today our special guest it's Amadeus Hospitality. This is a great episode. I'm sure they are going to share today with us a lot of interesting insight about the South Europe markets. So good afternoon. How are you, Ines, Alejandro, Jeff, and Amit?
Hello, a pleasure being here.
Good
Great to see you,
afternoon.
Enzo.
Good to see you guys. So let's make a quick roundtable so you can introduce yourself. Let's start with Ines.
Oh, thank you. So my name is Ines Healy. I've been in TravelClick for almost 18 years. Actually, in 2 days is my 18th year anniversary. In different positions, looking after different tools and products for the last 5 years in the business intelligence area. I look after all of our business intelligence tools for the international division, and previously to that, been a hotelier all my life. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you, darling. So let's move to the next, Alejandro.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Enzo, for inviting us. And I'm Alejandro Listan, the Regional Vice President for Southern Europe and Northern Africa. I have been in Amadeus Hospitality, TravelClick and Amadeus Company for the past 14 years in different positions. And before, I was working for some hotel chains in Spain. So thank you for being with us today. We will share some interesting data.
Sure, fantastic. What about you, Amit?
Hi, good afternoon, Enzo. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amit. I am a co-founder and chief revenue officer here at HyperGuest. HyperGuest is a much younger company. We started the company at the beginning of last year, but we have been many years in the servicing of hotels and travel agents and the entire industry. And this is a challenging time for everyone. What we do all day basically is keep the finger of the pulse with hotels all over the world as we introduce a new solution, do onboarding, listen to the needs of hotels, how they see themselves coming out of this pandemic. So I'm extremely excited to see hard data because that's the most interesting thing. People want to know what's going on and where is it all going. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Fantastic. So Jeff.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff Stone. I've been working with Amadeus and then previously with TravelClick for gosh, it's been since 2004. And so really excited to be here today. I work primarily with our reservation solution and guest management solutions. So that's really around our reservation suite as well as our hospitality-based CRM. And in the last, I would say, 4 years, I mean, I think the overall demand of the marketplace has been around personalization, and I think coming out of where we are with COVID, it's going to be even more crucial for our hotels to recover with a mindset around that.
So thank you guys for joining us. We're really happy. So the reason why we are doing this live streaming, it's just because every time HyperGuest develop a new integration, we have a new partnership. We always try to plan some, announcement that we use this tool of live streaming, going live, directly talking to the audience by sharing our expertise, knowledge. And in this case, in particular, today, really happy that Amadeus is preparing for us some really interesting research. So at this point, I would say, if in case the audience is interested to find out more, they can easily get in touch with us through LinkedIn, by searching our profile in LinkedIn, or get in touch directly on the website. But also, if you have a question during the live, guys, don't hesitate. Just put your question in the comments, and I'll try to do my best to turn this question to the speakers and see what's the comments is coming. And so at this point, we can start, I think. So, Ines, so are you ready?
Sure, I am. I'm always ready.
Okay.
Give me a sec. Let me share my screen with you guys, and let's go for it. Tell me when you can see my screen, please.
Yes, I see not yet, honestly.
No? Okay.
Not really.
Let me try again. There you go.
Here we are.
And let me make it larger. Okay, full screen now? All set?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, all set. Go ahead.
Ready? go. Thank you. So before we start, one thing I wanted to mention and to clarify to the audience, so you can have a better understanding on what we are talking about. All of the data that I'm going to be sharing with you today, or we are going to be sharing with you today, comes from our own database, from Amadeus airline data that I'm showing you in this very first slide to our Demand 360 database, which is essentially data on the books, future looking, historical as well, of course, but that it's coming straight from the PMSs or the central data warehouse of the hotels participating in this platform, which is about almost 30,000 hotels worldwide, from branded to independent properties, right? This data is fresh as of just a few days ago, March the 19th. And our goal was to, instead of, going year on year and showing historical data, our focus is more towards the future. Okay. So this very first one, it is about airline and hotel net reservations. Essentially, net reservations is the difference between reservations and cancellations. And the graph, it's about this net reservations on airline data. It's the blue column, whilst the green columns are about hotel reservations. And this graph, it's about specifically Europe. So when we talk about Europe, and on the right-hand corner, on the bottom of the page, on the right-hand corner, you can see how we started in January last year, and how the pandemic impacted us about a year ago, and then very, very clearly how we have slowly but steadily recovered. And then you can see the ups and downs of the different of the subsequent sort of crashes that we have, and how we are now very slowly again. And it's not like a straightforward, we get ups and downs in all cases, how we are slowly recovering. Europe, as we all know, because of the restrictions, it's still sitting a little bit behind other regions worldwide. In fact, when we talk about hotel business specifically worldwide, the rest of the world, or the entire world, it's over half the way as we were before the pandemic started. Europe, it's only at 20%. On the right-hand corner, what we have added also, it is a little bit of a share of hotel and airline recovery from pre-COVID periods in different parts in Europe. You would see that Europe and then the different countries that we are spotting on in Southern Europe are pretty much aligned, with perhaps Greece and in hotel business, and Spain are slightly better than France, Italy, and Portugal. The other interesting piece to me is that hotel business has a pro against airline business. Airline, it's very much tied into international flights, whereas hotel business can also depend on domestic business, which is the strength that we are getting into today, and we are sourcing as the immediate source of business. Alex, anything to add?
Yeah, thank you, Ines. And this is a great point. And then we have seen that in some locations, and as Ines was mentioning, in the case of Spain and Greece. So as soon as a few or some cities have some relaxed measures in place, so we see that the pickup start to, from 1 week or even 1 day to the other, we see some pickups, and you will see now, we will show you per city for some cities across Southern Europe, how these pickups are shown from 1 week to the other. And some properties that you will see at 6 or 7% of occupancy today, probably in the next 4 or 5 days will be at 15 or even 20% in some cities. So I think that we are very limited at this time in Europe due to the restrictions or the measures in place, and also for the Eastern season. But we will have some recovery, and we are short of that, and we will show you some data that is showing that as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, and continuing to what you are saying, let me show you a little bit of macro hotel data at worldwide level and at regional level. So this is a little bit crowded, a crowded slide, but I believe it's kind of interesting. The dotted line on top, it is how the hotel business flew throughout 2019 and into 2020. The different lines in different colors are about different regions worldwide. Interesting, it's the purple one, which is China. And China, as we all reference to China coming back faster than the rest. Yes, China came back faster than the rest, but had a big drop in February, and now it's pulling up again. And this talks about how fast the hotel industry can recover once the measures are lifted or softened a little bit. The lighter blue, it's about the US, and the black one is about worldwide this year. So as of last week, worldwide, as I think I was showing you before, we were at halfway of what we were last year, specifically this week at 46% worldwide occupancy. And we're getting into the full year of pandemic. So this time last year, this very same week, at worldwide level was the big, massive drop. Worldwide, we were at 21% occupancy. But now I want to point you out to the red line in the bottom. That is Europe, and clearly, yeah, we are behind pace, or we are behind other regions. However, on the bright side, take a look at how we were in December. There is obviously a softer, because of the restrictions are still in place, but the industry, it is growing, slightly growing, far from what we were in the summer season and before the pandemic. But the interesting piece is that there is a growing space. And when we look at forward at future data, that's why we have this vertical line. The big drop, it's about lead time. The lead time worldwide has shortened significantly. That's not that much the case in Europe. Obviously, there is a much shorter lead time, and we're going to see that than previous years. But it's a little bit softened in Europe than the rest of the world. And talking about that, let me show you about future data. So when we look at future months, and this slide is about the pickup that we are seeing. Pickup is literally happening last minute. The first column, it's about March this year, as of March the 19th. The base on all these columns, it is the occupancy that we had as of a month ago, as of February the 19th. So that is everything that has been built up to that date. If you look at March, the big things started happening of this month. And just this week, we have built up, or we have added a very nice portion, about 20% of the entire occupancy. And obviously, this share of business happens very last minute, and I'm going to show you that in just a few slides. But what's interesting is, if you look at now into April, we're kind of halfway. And if you remember, if you're a hotelier and you remember the usual reports, the forecasting, or the pickup for a whole year, it was kind of a slide. Whereas note in Europe how it is moving along. We get more occupancy, and this is something that we are seeing throughout Europe. More occupancy in September, October. The summer, it's kind of an obvious thing, but they're far more busier than April, which is not surprising, because we still have restrictions in place. for the upcoming month. Now, the important thing is, look at what's happening in the very short lead time and get ready for that. But also don't miss an eye on second half of the year.
Absolutely, and I add to that, and what you were mentioning here, the last minute bookings are the rule today. Okay, but what we need to take into account is that flexibility. It's also no longer a decide, but it's expected by all customers for those last minute bookings. And as I think that Ines pointed out something really important, don't underestimate any actions for the advanced lead time bookings. Those are really relevant. Those are coming. If you are checking on the graph there, you will see that even for July, August, September, and October, we are increasing more on the last 2 weeks for the next 2 months. So don't underestimate, please, the long lead time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes,
Then what we thought it was interesting, I think, Alex, you wanted to go through this one, is we have taken a look at how the build-up of the segmentation in this quarter, and this quarter that we're fully affected by the pandemic, the same quarter, the first quarter of 2020, where we were almost not affected, and the first quarter in 2019, which was normal between brackets years. And this is where our conversation on the right segmentation for your hotel, focusing on the right channels. We are seeing throughout this 3-year period, we are seeing an increase, especially in discount business. Discount, it is an important piece. Obviously, this year we are seeing affected the group business. That is clearly going to happen. Negotiated, although it's shortened, I'm going to show you in just a minute that it is coming back. We are seeing some business. Now, the important piece and the important one that we should look at, it is retail business, and especially into our own channels. And in the end, I ended up talking about it by myself. Sorry, Alex.
No, don't worry. Let's move to the next slide and we can cover that.
Sure.
That's perfect.
Absolutely.
Even
Absolutely.
better than me.
No worries. So this is the full year. Every column, it is 1 month into 2021. Now, on the first 3 months, two things that I wanted to highlight. We all know that most of business is happening in transfer business. We know that business is materializing in the last minute. But I want you to look at, in the first 3 months of the year, into the dark gray column. That is group business. It is domestic group business, but there is some group business happening. And the one that it's a dark green, which is about negotiated business. Again, negotiated business is something that we didn't see at all in 2020, at least the second half of 2020. We are seeing it coming back. And if we look at the shares of business just in the month of March, and I'm talking Europe, 4% of discount business and 3% of negotiated business and 3% of retail business, which retail and negotiated used to be by far the largest share of business in 2020. Now we are seeing, especially in the case of negotiated corporate, which is local corporate business, we all know that, into the equation and materializing very last minute. Moving forward, the big share, it is about unsold block. Unsold blocks are these group blocks or wholesale or crew blocks that hotels still have and they are maintaining, but they have not yet materialized. My recommendation to all hotels, of course, is wash them. Make sure that you do have the right picture of the upcoming business. Right. Cool. Let's jump into the channel mix, which is the other nice piece. We're looking at, especially at direct business, which used to be mostly about group. Now it is all about, almost all about, clients calling the hotels, making direct bookings. And this is where we all keep talking about, right, Alex, when we talk about strategies.
And this is a very important point, and this is something that we wanted to highlight to all hoteliers here. So the direct business, as you can see, we can keep consistent, the percentage. Sorry, you moved the slide, but we see that the direct business, those that it's coming through the call centers, or the emails or telephone calls to the hotels, so they keep consistent. But there are some points that we want to mention is that the growth that we're seeing on the OTAs, okay, comparing year to date 2019, 2020 and 2021. So we see that the OTAs, they continue growing. They have passed from 2020 year to date from the 25% to the 29%. And we see that brand.com, you see that it keeps, more or less the same share at 16, 17, and 17%. So this is really important, and how to, make the customer book through you. And to be honest, and this is something that I want to share with the crowd here, is that one of the things that, and probably you all are receiving a lot of newsletters from hotel chains or hotels that you are visiting, or that you are subscribed to their newsletters. And normally what we do, and which is important, okay, it's that having this communication with the customers about cleanliness or contactless options at the hotels. And those are key factors that you need to communicate. But at the same time, they're not the only ones, okay, that attract customer to book through your sites. So one thing that it's important is to personalize this customer experience in order to encourage customers to book through you and your direct channels, and not through OTAs. And of course, one thing it's important, it's not to forget about the marketing. We all know that budget restrictions are applying in every single company in the world. But we don't have to forget any channel, particularly our own channels. And the same for the GDS. So the GDS are still bringing revenue to the hotels. Year to date, it's at 8% in Europe. So they are still coming. Agents are still booking. So don't forget your actions on those different channels. Sorry, Ness, maybe I talked too much. Go ahead.
No, perfect. So this is kind of the share for the entire year. When we look at these numbers, and this is again a breakdown which does not include the blocks that I mentioned before. Picture is quite different. Last minute bookings, it's clear, dominating the landscape. And actually, let me show you this on this slide. We talk about lead time, right? 60% of all bookings happen within the week of arrival. 22%, that's 1 of 4 business happen on the day of arrival. And that talks very much into what you were saying before. Hoteliers, you do have one chance of getting that booking. And if you sell an experience, if you are different, if your team can talk about the value of your property, the experience and the client will have, that can make a difference, because you really don't have much of a chances in terms of, getting bookings earlier, changing people's mind. Bookings are happening last minute, and that is undisputable. Now, let's go into countries, because we have a little bit of a short time, and I wanted to make sure that we are covering all the Southern Europe countries. When we talk about France, obviously in a very dire situation, pickup is definitely happening last minute. We have, because of the restrictions, a contraction over Q4, but then you see that mood changes in the second half of the year, clearly from July onwards. And as I was telling you, and look at every country, September, it is the month where the highest occupancy happens. And that throughout 2021. If you see, more or less the levels of April are of August and November, which is really, really crazy. Now, let's go into the channel breakdown into France. Again, last minute, direct bookings dominating the landscape, and OTA business sort of slowly but steadily picking up. So something to look at. When we look at markets, in particular, those that are secondary leisure markets. In this case, we got Marseille, we got Nice with the highest levels of occupancy, whereas capitals or big cities, like in this case Paris, they're still in the lowest levels of occupancy. Affected by restrictions, affected by lack of international markets. So the big thing or the big stories happen again in secondary markets and especially in leisure destinations. Let's jump into Italy, or I'm going too fast. Stop me when you want.
We're short in time.
Lovely. Okay, so
just to make sure the audience, maybe someone is connecting a little bit later. Are we focusing on data on Southern Europe, right? Which country in particular?
So I've picked up for the specific occasion Spain, Portugal, Italy, and France. If I've not missed anyone else, and Greece. Sorry, yes, absolutely. But obviously, we do have coverage in all countries, most all countries worldwide. Perhaps some exceptions in Africa. But aside of that, we do have data worldwide. Yeah. Fantastic. So we do this kind of reports, and we do have coverage most everywhere.
I'm already imagining the revenue manager watching now. They think like, wow, we have information here. We can play some business,
Absolutely. And by the way, we're sharing this deck with you. So if anyone misses anything, by all means, we can share this. In Italy, it's a very, very similar situation than the one that we are seeing in France. Last minute bookings, not a lot of last minute pickup, again, because the restrictions were tightened just not so long ago. The growth comes in the second half of this year. Look again at September, October, and then going back. A U-shaped growth, which is very, very, very unusual. When we jump into the channel breakdown, even more than in France, direct business, it is leading by far the occupancy. So if you have a hotel in Italy, make sure that your team is very much aware of this and picking up the phone and your website, your booking engine. Reflects everything you have and reflects the experience that your customers will have at your property. Let's jump into some markets where it's to me it was kind of interesting seeing Florence, because Florence is where you see the big pickup, obviously in September, whereas and quite strangely in the and that not strangely, but it's kind of unusual seeing that the two big capitals in Italy, Milan and Rome, showed the highest occupancy levels this month of March, and we are seeing a pickup into also into July. Not that much yet into the summer season. Now let's jump into Greece, where and obviously here there's much more of a mix of leisure and corporate business. The pickup right now, it is for March and April, is very, very much reduced actually than what we have seen in France and Italy just a minute ago. But then obviously into the summer season, they clearly grow up and go down into the latest part of Q4. And if you notice from June onwards, we do have a growth in terms of pickup even within this month of March. So the first column, it is how they've been building up. The second column, it is the as of last week, and the last column, the darkest one, it is the occupancy as of this week of March the 19th. Looking at the breakdown, and in Greece, there's a lot of unsold blocks. So a big share of this business, of this direct business in particular, for the second half of this year are about unsold blocks. Let's hope they materialize. But perhaps they should look at a little bit of a wash, if you will. But obviously the big share here, more than anywhere else, it is about direct business. Brand.com is very tiny. Still OTAs are very tiny. And in terms of market, I wanted to focus on Athens because it's so much different than any capital in the rest of Europe, with a really high occupancy the second half of the year, starting in June. That's much higher than any other capital in Europe. Jumping into Portugal, it's a much slower pace than the rest. Very little occupancy in March, even a drop in business until June, and from July, softer than other countries in Europe. We get a little bit of a growth. It's still very, very timid in the case of Portugal. Yet again, the situation, softening restrictions, change in a blink of an eye. And again, in this case, if you see and it's interesting, it's different from other regions. Brand.com, they have a much sort of higher penetration than in any other of the regions. There is still some blocks happening again in the second half of the year. In Q1, a direct business, especially in February and March, has been almost the whole of the business in the country. Let's jump into their key markets, where again, Faro and Porto have much better figures second half of the year than Lisbon, which, by the way, this month of March, it is boasting slightly higher levels of occupancy than Faro and Porto. Let's jump into Spain. Spain, it's incredibly showing the highest levels of occupancy throughout Europe. This was actually the opposite as it happened in 2020. 2021 March occupancy, it's jumping quite interestingly, especially within this month. See, we had very little occupancy at the beginning, or build up until the beginning of this month, jumping interestingly in the second half. From April onwards, there is little business out there, but as you can see, pickup, especially in Spain, happens very, very last minute. Now let's go into the build-up. And the mix in Spain, it is much more even. Even there is GDS business. Sorry, there's some noise. I'm not sure if there's any question.
No question.
Yep.
Not at all.
Okay. Lovely. So the channel breakdown is much more even in Spain than we are seeing in other countries in Southern Europe. We even see a little bit of a share of GDS business, which is kind of unusual. And the mix between direct and OTA, it is stronger. My recommendation in here is hoteliers in Spain. Look at this. Best revenues or best net revenues normally come from direct business. So look at perhaps direct business and less expensive channels. Very interesting, the pickup per market, where that we are seeing that because of the perhaps a little bit more flexible restrictions, especially in the case of Madrid, which is picking up faster over the last few weeks, and Seville are the ones that are driving revenues up. Still not yet coming into the summer season, but quite likely it's going to pick up over the next few weeks. And with this,
Yeah.
Alex, all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Ines. What we want to share with you is that some of the takeaways that we want to share here is that all researches, not only the ones done by Amadeus, but by different companies, are clearly stating that travelers are eager to travel as soon as restrictions are lifted. So we have to be ready, and we have to promote our properties, our hotels, in a fashion manner that attract this traffic that it's generating and the customer, and make this customer stream. So more and something that we want to share is that data, and it's more important than ever before to take your decisions in distribution, in segmentation, in revenue management, in operations, and of course in market. Those decisions must be based on fresh on fresh and in on the books data, okay, and not base those decisions on feelings as maybe we have done in the past. Also, as I told you before, last minute bookings are the rule today. Okay, but flexibility and let's say flexibility, it's expected. Okay, it's not something that it's nice to have. It's expected from all customers. Um,
Absolutely.
Contact list and cleanliness, as I told you before, are key factors for the hotels to take the decision, but are not the only ones to attract those customers. And I mentioned before the personalization of the experience, encourage the customers to book in your direct channels, and promote, and this is really important, and take this with you, promote additional services on every stage of the journey of your customers. Not only hotel services, but also services at the destinations. Make the customer dream what they can do in the destination. Remember that we all have been around four walls in the past year. So a nice hotel room is fantastic. Everyone is dreaming about a nice room, but please offer experience to your customers. What they can do apart from your fantastic rooms. Make them
Definitely.
dream.
Yeah, I agree with you, Alejandro. Otherwise, it's becoming always at the same point. If we only sell the unit, the room, and the space, it's all about money. It's all about price, and the fight of price. You know how it's going to be ending. So where everybody is dropping the price down. So I
Yeah,
totally
and
agree with you. And
marketing, not only drop price, do marketing, reach your customers. Stop marketing is not the right decision.
Added
yeah,
values.
yeah, definitely, definitely. In effect, by looking at your data, first of all, thank you guys. It's really interesting, really interesting. I'm sure that people are appreciating now. Also, taking part in some other events. Most of the cases, there are two aspects that is highlighting here again and again. Lead time, which is last minute reservation, and direct booking is increasing. So let's look at the glass half full, not half empty, in a way. So, what's your take on this, Amit?
Yeah, I think that one thing that came out very clearly is the importance of the domestic market here. It was really a thread among all these, whether it's the last minute decisions, whether it's the difference in the from the major cities to where the domestic market would go. And I can speak to you here from Tel Aviv, where I actually had the pleasure last week to sit for a coffee shop in a boutique hotel, and I had a chat with the manager, and he said they're very happy. This is at 90%, reaching 100% occupancy, which I didn't hear for a long time. That was pretty amazing for me to hear. But it's very, very different from business before. All is either staycation, city people coming in, or people arriving in this way. And it's a big change. It's a big change to think about how you make that experience speak perhaps to a different audience, how you find the right channels that are different, how you move quickly in order to capitalize, because decisions are being made very, very quickly. Because and I think this is an issue that we're going to see continue, because even as vaccination programs are going to progress, countries are going to be concerned about travel, international travel, because of new types of viruses from other countries. So we have to become also very good at domestic, among other things.
You know, where I was talking with some friends, a revenue manager, and most of them, they're giving a very interesting feedback. So most of them, they're thinking that the recover, don't know yet when it's coming really, but in a way, at some point, it will explode. Like, because I think, but let's leave it out the fact that we live in and work in this industry. I feel like I can't wait anymore. I mean, whatever it's gonna be, I just click some company, hotel and flight, and I just want to fly and go somewhere. I think this is the right feeling everybody has, you know. And first things I will do, I will book a restaurant, go out for dinner, you know, every night. I want to flight every day. So I think the recover, we don't know yet when it's gonna be more stable. But at some point, I'm sure that is going to be an explosion. But just because it's the pleasure to, you know, to travel again. So let's
Yeah,
cross finger, guys. That's my personal perception.
absolutely, answer.
And
And
we have
we have
seen
to
that.
prove. We have to prove in the last 2 weeks. You know, some destinations have open, you know, flights, and some origins have allowed these customers to travel to these islands, and we passed from 10 flights a week to 50 flights a day in those destinations. So people it's eager to travel, as I mentioned before.
Fantastico, fantastico. So now what we are going to do, guys, we're trying to switch now to this second part of the live streaming where we are going to make a kind of product pitch. We will show you some interesting things from HyperGuest, but also some very cool update from Amadeus platform, from Amadeus Hospitality platform. So at this point, I will leave Amit starting the pitch. Are you ready, Amit?
Oh yeah, let's see how they can share the screen here.
In the meantime, guys, any question from the audience, we can, you know, trying to share more and more. And again, so if you are interested to get the data and the slide from Ines and Alejandro, get in touch with them through LinkedIn or go directly on the Amadeus website. Try to get in touch in a way by sending an email to marketing or somewhere, you know. I'm
No,
sure
we
that
have.
we'll be able to share those information with you.
Yeah.
Okay,
On our
I see.
website, you have some portals with amazing information.
Correct.
Fantastic. Okay, so I see your screen now, Amit. Perfect. You can start.
Okay, guys. First of all, thank you very much so far. This fascinating information. It's great to see the actual data and understand what is really going on everywhere. So we're HyperGuest. We are a channel. That's the first thing. So how we connect to the hotel architecture, we will be another channel on the Amadeus Hospitality platform, but much more than any traditional channel. We are used to channel that is an OTA. We are used to channel that is a bed bank, but this is a totally new kind of channel. It gives a lot of power to the revenue manager. And part of our philosophy is really to rethink what does it mean to sell direct. I always say direct, that means somebody's surfing on the website and they're coming in direct. But we want to bring the notion of direct business, even for you are working with partners. At this point in time, we need all the partners we can get. They are specialists on their particular customer, whether from a corporate standpoint, for a lifestyle standpoint, whether they are specialists in helping find long-term stay solution, selling by the hour. We want to be able to very quickly identify these demand opportunities and connect to them quickly and be able to respond very quickly and be in full control. And that's why we build this kind of system. So you're going to open your property for new demand access. It's a certified channel. We're very proud to be one of the earliest channel manager being a Travel Click Amadeus Hospitality. And with this channel, your B2B counterparts, we will expose, basically, you're opening up your capability. You're opening up to those B2B directly your dynamic rates, your static data and information. So they have all that experience that we keep talking about should not go to waste, should not be lost in a point of sale of that B2B. So fantastic data that's very easy for the hotelier to make available with a full level of automation. Direct booking, straight into your system with the help of course, straight through the channel manager and into the PMS, and payment facilitation. So if I'm now can work with smaller partners B2B, I can actually treat them as the biggest professionals on the internet are having one single consistent reconciliation, very clear payment processes, and so on. So now, as a revenue manager, I have this all new set of capabilities to act very smartly. So this is the position where we fit. We are basically a way to connect to those demand generators without us acting as an intermediary. We are not going to come in and actually be in the middle of the sale. The sale is going to happen directly, and there's several advantages to that fact. First of all, from a business model standpoint, if I don't have an intermediator, I can reduce my distribution cost. Whereas today, a bed bank is perhaps the most expensive channel that I have in my mix. This actually becomes the most attractive one. Why? Because there's no intermediaries. We are just taking the allocation that the hotel decides upon of the margin, the distribution margin that they're allocating. All of that goes and given to the final travel provider. So there's a great efficiency in that. Also, the data is flowing directly. The business relationship is directly. I now can see who is sending me business. That so far I was separated from them. I was blind, and maybe this whatever corporate or agency or whoever that is actually sending me tens of reservations a month. I can actually reach out to them and even give them more incentives to work with me because I now have a direct relationship with them. So the guiding principle, we want to build a really, really compelling package that makes total sense for the hotelier. So there's a few guiding principles. First of all, there is no cost. So there is no transactions fee, there's no setup fee, there's no listing fee, and so on. We will charge a small technology fee from the demand side, a sub 1%, below 1%. And so it is a very low cost ecosystem for that exchange. But even though the hotelier is not the one paying, they are the one in full control. They are controlling the commission. They don't have to negotiate it. They can put the 1% commission if they wish. Nobody will buy, but they are the ones in control. And also, who is getting it? We are used to the fact that I'm putting out rates into a channel and I lose control over it. I don't know what happens with it, who is getting what. In this case, actually, two different demand generators can look at my hotel and they will see different rates and different availability because I have full control at those B2B level. And of course, the restrictions and inclusions, all those capabilities, we are managing that through the integration with Amadeus Hospitality Travel Click, and all that is coming straight into the hotel system directly from those B2B partners. The simple, extremely simple to deploy. The system is extremely simple to deploy. When hoteliers are now busy, they are, sometimes I call the revenue manager and they are at the front desk doing some extra things. And there is no need for pre-contracting also. So I have all these agencies want to work directly with me. I will not need to actually make a contract with them. They can simply start selling. And reconciliation also, all the finance aspect of it, even though I'm working with now the mid-market, I have a very simple and easy process. And it is extremely powerful system designed for a large architecture that is encompassed.
Well, we can hear some nice music in the background, Amit. Well, I like it. It's good atmosphere. We're here to entertain, guys. So music is part of the show, right, Alejandro?
Enzo, I thought you were in charge of the music here, though.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Great. So how does it actually work? The rate and availability are coming out of TravelClick and being pushed to HyperGuest at all time. We have the real-time picture of what is going on in the hotel. Within a second of something changing in the hotel, it is available to the agencies. There's no more caching, looking at all data, outdated rates, and disappointment for those guests. The static data, there's a whole system here for making sure you can have that with the push of a button. You have that, and you can look beautiful at the point of sale. And you control the terms, the cancellation, how it is going to be paid, what are the restrictions, inclusions, and so on and so forth. So this is up to the hotelier to control. And you control this at a very high level, very simple, or you can get very sophisticated by different segments, by different countries, by different individual agents. And then it's a very powerful capability for the demand side, which, by the way, can connect them not just to TravelClick customers, but to over 60 different channel manager systems in one spot. From the perspective of an OTA, this is a godsend. That's the word that actually I heard them use, because now they can sell directly, just start selling. They don't need to worry so much about all these connectivity. This is solved for them. They get the rich static data, and they send the booking. The booking is not with HyperGuest, as it was with a bit of man. It's actually going straight to the hotel, and they get the confirmation from TravelClick that this actually took place and was confirmed by the hotel system. And if I have a relationship with a specific B2B partner, with a corporate or with an agent or with a consortium, within a few clicks, I can deploy that rate and make it only available to one particular partner. So it is at the same time an open marketplace with no pre-contracting, but also a platform for easy and very rapid deployment of any relationship that you establish with the B2B demand generation. About the infrastructure behind this is a super powerful system that's both scalable, extremely easy for it to integrate to additional demand generation technologies, handling all aspects of the sale, using by bulletproof, meaning reduced level of human error with no mapping required, no caching of the data along the way, but extremely fast response time with no latency, so that an OTA user is getting availability information in tens of milliseconds. So a great user experience for those demand generating platforms. So that's it in a nutshell, how it actually works. To conclude, we are not adding another middleman. We're just solving the problem of that level of connectivity. Transact directly with the supply source. There's no need for pre-contracting. Start selling, just sell. You handle both prepaid and commissionable sales. The hotel decides what is the product they want and how they expect to be paid. And when there is a commission to be paid, that is automated as well. The rich static data is automated as well. And there is absolutely no cost and no project effort for the hotelier. That's HyperGuest.
Amazing. That's great. Thank you, Amit. Right. So at this point, I switched to Jeff. He was really sitting and listening. He was very quiet. All good, Jeff?
All good. As Alex knows, I think we both have a bit of a reputation. We both like to contribute to the conversation. So now it's my turn. But thank you, Enzo, and Amit. Really exciting stuff. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let me know when you can see my screen. And you should be able to see it now.
Yeah, we see it.
All right, great. Well, we are very excited about the relationship and the integration with HyperGuest. It's a new integration for us, and it continues to enrich our overall offering from my hotelier and the integrated solution that we offer our hotel partners. Amadeus Hospitality, I don't need to get into all of the detail, but I think it's really exciting, as Ines, Alex, myself, coming from the TravelClick and Amadeus company, and really being incorporated into the overall Amadeus Hospitality family. There's so many different things that are happening right now that are really exciting, despite some of the challenges that we faced in 2020. But as Ines and Alex were showing earlier with the data, I think so many of our hotel partners have done some great work in getting themselves prepared for that, Enzo, as you were saying, that explosion, where we're really, we're waiting for this situation to get to a point where we're starting to see, like we were seeing in Israel and in the UAE and some other areas where the vaccination percentages have gone up so much, and they were really starting to see some of those occupancy levels, and especially rate, the rate points that we're seeing in some of those markets is better than it was a year ago, pre-COVID. And so I think that we're starting to see some really exciting signs, and the hotel partners that we're working with, the work that's been done to really prepare themselves for that, I think is going to pay off. At Amadeus Hospitality, overall, one of the things that we work with our hotels on is not only strategy, giving them the right information, the right data, also working with them on strategy, and as well as the right platform to achieve their goals. And so just on screen, you can see a little bit of a vision for what we're doing. Many of these different solutions that you're seeing on screen here, from our BI platforms to our sales and event management to PMS to our CRM, all of these are existing and I would say very well established platforms in the market. But we're moving towards a core central services model where all of these will be fed from a service exchange. It's really exciting to see how these different platforms are going to leverage data points from one to the other. It's really creating, I think, a very holistic perspective for our hotels and how they're going to be able to service their guests. And also, I would say, merchandise their guests much more effectively in a way that really caters to their needs, but also maximizing revenue capture opportunities. When we look at the overall ecosystem that we really deal with on a daily basis, there's about I would say 6 key systems from iHotelier that you can see here today. Our website solutions, our CRS, our CRM, but also down here, our sales and catering, our sales and event management, our property management system, as well as our own service optimization platform. All of these are integrated together today. And the area where we've been, I would say, traditionally focused on the last few years, and where we've seen a huge amount of it, investment, is around our integrated booking suite, and that's really around the website, reservations, and guest management solutions. Just for a note, seeing that obviously we have the folks from HyperGuest on the call. HyperGuest obviously gives us an extended range of distribution out here on the left-hand side with our iHotelier OTA sync distribution, but we also have seamless next-generation connectivity on the GDS, our booking engine, as well as call center booking engine to round out our booking channel options. So when you look at our integrated booking suite, there's really about 5 different areas that we'd like to focus on. One would be really, as the guest begins the journey, what are they looking for? How are they interacting with the different mediums to find the right travel solutions? When they get actually on the website of a hotel or hotel partner, is an experiential web? Are they finding an experiential web? And really, that point that we were talking about earlier. Enzo, you're ready to jump on a plane at any moment. And so, we found that, hotels that are really capturing the imagination, but also, really interacting with their guests and giving them that right, touch point, they're the ones who are going to win the business at the end of the day. When the guest is actually, on the website, giving them a frictionless booking experience, allowing them for some very quick and easy custom add-ons, and then also loyalty and upsell opportunities. That's really around our GMS solution. So as we move through the different areas, it's really around, again, iHotelier, which is our CRS and booking engine, our proprietary web platform, our CMS, as well as our GMS, which is our proprietary CRM. These 3 working in very, very, I would say, tight collaboration between our different teams. You're not talking to 3 different teams, you're talking to one, and that we know our data points, we know how our APIs work from one to the other. And I think it really gives a powerful solution to a number of hotels and groups that are using it today. So when we look at how guests are, beginning that journey, they're starting out on brand.com, they're starting on GDS, MetaSearch, Consortia, or even the OTAs, as Amit was referring to with some of the bed banks and some of the different distributors. There's a number of different ways they can get to a hotel, and we want to make sure that they've got a wide range, first of all, to find the hotel and then make the decision on how they want to book. One of the exciting things that we just released is our member rates functionality. I did want to mention this because it's brand new. We just released it. It's in beta. It'll be coming out of beta at the end of March, the end of April. But one of the exciting things about this is it allows our hotels to really compete with either loyalty or private offer rates. So much like the major brands do, our individual hotels even are going to be able to offer this to really, I think, not only offer a more competitive rate, but also really begin a relationship and get to understand their guests even better. So again, this is going into beta right now. Literally was released earlier this week, and we're very, very excited about some of the initial results. When we talk about website and how the guest interacts with our websites, we know that imagery, compelling imagery, hero videos, hero imagery is really what captures the guest's imagination and is a key element in also really conversion for guests. Personalized messaging when arriving on the website. There's nothing more than nothing more compelling for a guest when they arrive on a website and the hotel partner already knows who they are. They know when their birthday is. They know different information about them that creates an emotional bond with the guest as they're navigating throughout the website. As you're moving through a frictionless booking, it's really about removing those barriers to a guest and getting through the booking process itself. And so we've developed our booking engine and the whole process around a very seamless and I would say a very, very frictionless way for a guest to be able to see at any given time where they are in the booking process and how to get through it quickly, but at the highest cart basket value. When we look at our booking engine itself, one of the exciting things about it does continue to continues to I think garner different accolades within the industry. And when we also think about the fact that we're releasing a brand new version of it coming out here at the end of the year, there's a number of different things that we're going to continue to leverage with our current booking engine into the next version as well. But again, this is completely integrated with our CRM and with our CMS for the integrated booking suite. Something brand new, again, released just about a week ago, is what we call our audience builder. This is in beta. We're working through beta, that should be coming out here in Q2. It's mid Q2, and the audience builder allows you to really, we were just talking a few minutes ago about what hotels can do, what our hotel partners can do to really, I think, differentiate themselves. As guests are making last minute decisions, there's a real pent up desire to travel. How are you interacting with your guests to interact with them? Are you sending them a note saying, hey, 2 years ago, do you know where you were on the beach in Maldives? Do you know what you were doing in the center of New York City? There's different things that you can do based on guest profile to really go back out to those guests, to strike a nerve with an emotional spend potentially to get them to come back and book with you. And this is one of the exciting things that we're doing. Again, our GMS team working very closely with the iHotelier CRS to produce some very compelling promotion abilities for our hotels. As you can see here, these are just some of the practical examples of how it can not only be done based on the guest profile and where they're coming from, but also different marketing campaigns, banner advertisements, and emails. These are some of the practical examples about how this can be actually applied when a guest arrives on the website. If they're traveling with 2 adults and no kids, they might see something quite different from a guest who's maybe coming back for their 10th time to offer them, as you can see on screen, a free walking tour of the city. All of this is based on stay history, RFM scores, a number of different criteria that can be garnered from the guest profile. And again, it differentiates the hotel from some of the OTAs. We know that OTAs have a very necessary role within the booking environment, but we feel like hotels, especially as Enzo said earlier, we're seeing a lot of direct bookings coming back to the hotels. What can hotels do to differentiate themselves? This is a great example. Whether it is, again, some of these profile-based promotions, but also upselling to guests based on their lifetime value, who they are, different upsell opportunities, and then also cart abandonment. When guests come back 5, 6, 7, sometimes 10 times before they make a booking, what are we doing to interact with them to give them a clear and quick path to finish off bookings at any given time? We also offer a full-blown loyalty program for hotels, whether it is just guest recognition or really a points reward and redeem model. But both of those are capable, completely built out with iHotelier. And then lastly here, just wanted to make sure that we're highlighting our friends over at HyperGuest, that we do have them integrated with our iHotelier OTA sync connectivity, which is part of our integrated booking suite. And But not only that, obviously the 4 major GDSs with a premier level consortium relationships, the top meta sites that are available today. And as I mentioned, member rates are now available on Google and Kayak. We're adding more, but this is very exciting for us to be able to do that. And with that, I am going to finish up.
Fantastic. Wow. Guys, you're always on top of the market with this innovation. It's amazing. Thank you. It was jumping in my mind during your presentation a funny question, like as you're big players in the flight industry too, do you think in a way creating something where, or is already existing, I don't know, making a reservation of a room and book a flight directly on the website of the hotel, it will be something feasible in the future?
Yeah, it will be, and in fact, it is. Combining flight and room. I think Alex and I've been working with resorts and some of the traditional, I would say, vacational markets, and it's something we've gotten asked a number of times. We at Amadeus, obviously, we've got a significant flight, store available to us, and it's something that's definitely on our radar. And we do have a solution for that today, but we know that going forward, it's something, there's a real opportunity for us, especially for flight segment driven hotel business.
Sure. Cool. Right, guys. So we are at the end. So just to wrap up, test what emerged again, and it's something really hotels should look at. First of all, data is becoming crucial, considering that past information are not being relevant, at least now. So looking at future data is becoming crucial. If you want to anticipate or understanding where the market is moving and where the pickup is coming, definitely looking at future data is becoming the only source that revenue manager can handle right now to take any strategic decision. Again, the official website is becoming a big hub now of reservations. So maybe because it's the moment of domestic traveler, and as we know, domestic, when it comes to the domestic kind of short distance trip, most of the case people prefer to call on the phone, booking on the website, sending an email, and so. But again, that may change in the future. So whoever is investing now in the website, they will definitely have a better future. So this is definitely a key aspect to look at. And of course, lead time is what it is, situation is what it is, but we all want to travel. And actually, I want to close this episode today by asking each of you a funny question. So let's imagine that tomorrow the pandemic is over, right? Alejandro, where you would like to fly, where you would like to go in holiday?
Well, it's different what I want to go on holidays and what I want to fly. I want to fly to see my parents. And
Okay.
then on holidays, I will go to Ibiza. So two different things.
Ibiza? Well, I have already booked my flight to Ibiza from first.
Lucky you.
July.
I cannot do it from here.
What about you, Ines?
Exactly the same. Literally exactly the same. But instead of Ibiza, I would go back to Greece.
Back to Greece.
I need those islands. Yeah.
Okay. Amit.
I would have to say Florence. I know the exact hotel, but in case it's live, in case the restaurants are there, the full experience, it's definitely for me. I miss Florence. I haven't been there in a while.
I will really suggest to go there. It's amazing. Jeff.
I would have to say I'd like to go back to California, where I'm originally from. So it'd be nice to get back home and be amongst friends and family.
Fantastic. Right, guys. So I wish everyone to get this flight as soon as possible, see our parents and get some fun in Ibiza, right? And thank you again for taking part of this episode. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
And thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Enjoy. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we don't want you anything.